Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to a very interesting do it yourself budget hot rodding live stream. And in this particular live stream, once we hit about the 10-minute marker, we've got a lot of ground to cover. But as the title suggests, someone actually tried to rip me off on Project Spirit. Not a joke. This actually happened. This is one that even if even if you're watching the playback, watch it from beginning to end because there's going to be a lot of information that you need to know if you're doing a project car or even if you got a modern car. Okay, these are things that you need to know so you don't get ripped off. Because I'm telling you, rip-offs on cars don't just come at shops. They could come at auto parts places, and it's not the place that, it's not the auto parts, the place that's selling the parts. A lot of times, believe it or not, it's one of those things. They just stock the shelves. They don't know what's wrong with the products in the box. So so in this particular live stream, I'm going to be going over all of the things that you need to know so you don't get ripped off. So, because I know a lot of you now, since, we've been going live pretty much damn near every day here on the Prince Magnum channel, since we've been going live every day and we've talked about the project cars, you've seen the stuff starting to happen. I know there's a lot more people interested in doing project cars or doing some sort of a project, and I don't want to see anyone get ripped off because, that's your hard-earned money. And I actually did get ripped off just this year on a part. And that's going to be interesting to talk about. So I got a lot of ground to cover. Right now, the stream is I've got one like. Stream for the most part is kind of dead, but that's to be expected because we're just getting underway. So again, this is going to be those buyer beware sort of things that you need to know, whether it's an old car, new car, but mainly if you're customizing, especially if you're customizing a car. So yesterday I had a wonderful day off from streaming, and I spent probably close to about 5 hours. Hey, how you doing, Queen? I spent close to 5 hours playing Fortnite with Ian and Pinky and Princess Faye and Queen Bee and Mike G, Mike Gaming. We had a great time yesterday. It was a lot of fun, and even picked up a couple of wins, and that was a lot of fun. We had a great time. And of course, Queen Bee got to see her special birthday video. And I'm very proud of that one because of the new camera, the new equipment, the capture equipment that we use to record that. I am doing fantastic. All considering, what needs to be taken care of on Spirit is not taken care of yet. Oh, my pleasure. When you put in the comments that you got a little weepy-eyed, I knew I did the ending right, which is exactly what I was going for. What's going on, Think Different? So today is going to be a buyer beware live stream. I'm actually going to go over, because this is one that, I know there's going to be some questions, what to look for, blah, 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 that sort of thing. And I'm going to have to answer those questions pretty soundly. And I know Think Different, when he read the description saying someone tried to rip me off on Project Spirit, I know he's pissed, but I caught them, okay? I didn't lose any money. It's one of those things. I caught him. What's going on, Spaz? Our dear friend Spaz, baby. You missed the Makeup Live Friday. You missed it. It was an amazing, what happened? Someone tried to rip me off on Project Spirit. I'll wait till about the 10-minute marker, and then I'll take you down and show you guys in detail how they tried to rip me off. But there's going to be a lot of detailed information you guys are going to need to know, because I'm telling you, you can get ripped off on a project car real easy. Yeah, they tried to rip, of all the people They tried to rip me off. A guy who's been messing with cars since he was 16. And Friday, I turned 41. Not a joke. That is probably the funniest thing that, I mean, I was laughing about it. I mean, you figure I'd be mad, but I was laughing about it. And Princess Faye is like, how could you be so casual about this? I said, because of all the people they tried to rip off, it was me. And she's like, that is funny. That is really funny. You are, of all the people they could have tried to rip off, they tried you. Oh no. Gosh dang it, Spaz. Oh man, I hate to hear that. For those that don't know, Spaz Baby is actually part of last year's giant expansion for the Prince Magnum channel. For us to get the numbers that we got right now, to even get as close as we are to having the money making stuff turned back on, it was Spaz Baby. Oh, I know. You got to stop that. But Spaz Baby was a part of the great expansion that happened last year. For us to get the 1,000 supporters that we got this year, Spaz Baby was a big part of that push. And I'm telling y'all right now, by spending time. Oh, have you? Thank you. Thank you. When I looked this morning, we're at almost, if I remember correctly, we're actually sitting at 2,005, almost 2,600 now watch hours. And I will tell you all right now, I'm hoping soon that we'll have that turned on, because YouTube kind of starts, they don't necessarily push us mid-time channels that are monetized, but you get a little bit of a push. And I know I've got the content to do it, to get that big push. But the problem is getting to that point where your monetization is turned on. Oh, thank you so much. And believe it or not, I do the same thing. My personal favorite one, I actually have a special one just for me, because certain videos that I try to push, and I do it quietly. I might go ahead and just turn that on public where you all could see it. What's going on, Hector? Right, right. So yeah, I mean, of all the things, I mean, in today's live, I'm actually going to be doing kind of a buyer beware sort of thing. Okay, so kind of a heads up, you know. So we got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm actually going to show you a part that I was continually ripped off on, to the point where it was like, okay, I had to do something different, because I was doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And I know better than that. All right. And it's one of those things that we've kind of talked about this, but we're definitely going to go over it today, because it's kind of like, if you don't watch for these sort of things, you're going to get ripped off, and it could cost you a lot of money, and it could do a lot of damage. As a matter of fact, one of the problems I'm going to show you guys, believe it or not, eventually did cause me problems. Eventually caused where I had to make a modification to Spirit. So I'm actually going to be going over that today. So this is like super, even, I don't care if you get into modern, if you get into hot rodding or not, this is definitely one that if you're building a project car, great. Yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, so I'm constantly having a class. Let me say right now, we're at that 10-minute marker. Yeah. Let me say right now, and I'm going to shock you all. Okay. I look young. Okay. I know I look young, especially when I'm clean shaven. But when I take Project Spirit somewhere, the first words out of their mouth is, "Oh, it's going to cost thousands of dollars." That's what's one of the favorite things. As a matter of fact, there's a running gag on Spirit that there you go. That's what's up. How you doing, Kevin? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing good. What was that, Spaz? There you go. I see. I'm glad you put your foot down. And I'm going to say right now, when I take Spirit somewhere, they love to say that it's going to cost all this money. Okay. And that's first thing out of the gate, buyer beware sort of thing. Okay. Do not get caught in that. All right. If you got a classic car, hey, what's going on, filming? Good to see you, buddy. How you doing? So I'm definitely going to be going over some of the things that have actually been a problem. And again, I'm even going to go over some things that is not known in the auto parts places that you definitely need to know. I'm doing good. I almost got ripped off on Project Spirit yesterday, but I thankfully I know these things. I know what to look for. So I'm going to show you guys some things that you're going to need to know, because I know a lot of you are talking about project cars now because of the channel. A lot of you in the video game community. Oh, hey, no, I get it. I get it, brother. Thank you for popping in at least. Real quick, Ian did an amazing burrito video, and I thought it was amazing. I mean, it was short, it was sweet, and I got a kick out of it, and it looked really good. I mean, he did an amazing burrito video. Y'all got to get over there and check that out. I mean, it was a good video. Let me tell y'all. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely down for what's okay. Yeah, Ian's getting into the cooking side. He's getting into the DIY cooking stuff. I'm liking that. I can't see what he does next. Maybe you'll do fish and chips next, Ian. You do fish and chips. All righty. So let's head down to Project Spirit and let's start this off properly, okay? Again, oh yeah, y'all are familiar with me doing cooking. Well, Ian cracked into the kitchen, and I was impressed. I mean, he. Hey, I understand. And I appreciate you supporting the missus. I appreciate that. It means the world to me that you're supporting her. And anybody who gets over there and supports the wife, I always appreciate. Because, my channel does decent. We do decent. All right. We have to come down to Project Spirit. And there's a couple of things that we're going to kind of go over. First thing that we're going to go over, I'm going to pop the hood so I can make this pretty quick. You guys get to look up the sky. You go Blue Falcon it for a moment. All right. But we're not going to go under the hood first. We're going to come over here to Project Spirit's driver's side door. Now, I briefly talked about this, but Spirit's got a problem, okay? Her driver's window will roll down, but it will not. That's as far as it'll go. Her driver's window is jammed. Okay? Now, because of how the Ford did the door panel is here. Now, the inner skeletal structure is inside, so this is actually part of the door. Okay? So it's not like a lot of them nowadays where you could take the whole door panel off, because this is actually part of the door. This panel, you remove it, more or less, it's, just cardboard underneath, and it's stretched. It's got vinyl stretched over it. There's a couple of bolts holding it here. And then, of course, you got to slide it past this. You got this over here. But in behind here is some actual clips. All right. Now, what I did when I took it over to this window shop to have this looked at, and I know full well that this, okay, if it rolls down that far, and that's as far up as it'll go, I know full well that there's something jammed in the gears for the window crank behind there. And more than likely, it's a piece that broke off here, all right? And it's jammed where you can't, where it's just holding something up in there. I know this, but I'm not any good at working on this sort of stuff. And I figured I would have a professional look at this, and they would be able to tell me when it came time to taking this panel off here and working on this dent here. They would be able to tell me. What ends up happening is I take it over to the shop, and they tell me that they had it off. There you go. That's good, Kev. Drop her link in the chat so we could get over there and support her. And make sure you drop the link afterwards so we could get over there and support her. You know how that works. But anyhow, we had to, basically you got to pull this panel off, remove those 2 bolts, remove that piece, and then slide it past that, and then this panel comes completely off. Now that I've said that, again, underneath here is cardboard, and then there's like this paper that's in behind this. Now, this paper is old, and it's just there to kind of keep moisture from getting to that cardboard. It's just a seal. When you go to remove this, a lot of times that paper will tear, and you can actually see where it tore. But I know this because I had to remove the panel myself. The guy was telling me in behind here that it's all riveted in place. There's no bolts. I got up here and found bolts holding that gear assembly in place. So I got the panel off to a certain point, realized that I needed the right tools to remove these pieces, otherwise this wouldn't come off. So I was able to figure out that much, all right? And I showed Princess Faye. She was shocked. She's like, someone actually tried to rip you off on Project Spirit. So that is a buyer beware. Now, how would I know this? Because immediately when I looked, everything that I had put in, basically that had not moved. I knew that. And when I started, I'm like, something isn't right. So all I had to do was actually start removing just a little bit, not go in super deep, but remove just enough of the panel, and I could see that factory seal still in place. So I knew the guy lied to me. He didn't take this piece off, and he wanted me to spend more money to have that part replaced just underneath that panel, basically giving him more money and looking like he did an amazing job when more than likely that part does not need to be replaced. It just needs to be gone through and refurbished. So in essence, that was going to cost me more money if I had not known what I was doing. Now, I know because of some of the people in our area, and I know Think Different's already asking, who was the guy you took it to? Well, unfortunately, on the Prince Magnum channel, we do not do bad reviews for a good reason. The reason why we don't is because if I was to tell you that shop, either A, you might know them, or B, you, bad publicity is still publicity. There you go, Queen. Thank you. So bad publicity is still publicity, and I don't want you guys to, anyone else to go to that shop, so they don't even get a shout out. That's how that works. That is a standard practice here on the channel. So, like I said, I actually popped all the clips loose, which the clips are a little different than what I'm used to. The clips are really different. That's them. I'm used to these plastic clips that they wouldn't even quote me a price. They wouldn't even quote me a price, Ian. So whenever they won't even quote you a price, you know there's a problem. Okay? That's a dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. Now, I've got the hood up on Spirit. There you go. Thank you, Kevin. Now over here, so that was the first one, okay? And that was an attempt to rip me off. Right there. Okay? That's an attempt to rip me off. Now over here, I'm going to show you guys something that now this is one that auto parts places don't realize. Manufacturer ripoffs. Right here, we've talked about this. This is the starter solenoid. Now, this is one of the great ideas that Ford had. With your GMs, this device is actually kind of cylindrical and hooks down on the starter. Okay, now that I've said that, because I know this, Ford actually mounted this up here. Doesn't take heat soak. These last for years. As a matter of fact, when we got Project Spirit, the original one was still on there. It barely worked, but it was still there. So 40 years later, the original one was still in place, if that's any indication. Even though she sat for 20 years, that's a lot of moisture getting into an electronic part. Now that I've said that, when we did replace it, every time you turn around, I had to get a new one. Would have to get a new one every time, okay? And all of the ones, except for one, came from China. Now that I've said that, another one that was bad actually came out of Korea. So now that we've discussed that, okay, that means that, I'm sorry, one of them came out of Taiwan. What's going on, Third Gen 83? Welcome to the live stream, my friend. So this again is a buyer beware. Now we've had this one on here for close to a year, okay, and it's shown no problems whatsoever. What country of origin is this one from? That's real easy. Mexico. Believe it or not, Mexico makes great parts for these old classics. So this one being out of Mexico has not given me any problem. I had to call my friends over there at Napa Auto Parts in Park Hills, and I purchased this one. It cost me a little bit more because it was made in Mexico and it was made with actual quality. So I've not had any problems. So now that I've said that, watch your country of origin, okay, on these cars. Watch your country of origin because as a result of this, we had to do this. It wore this out. I mean, it was going to wear out eventually, but this setup here, the original factory setup, wore out faster because of crap like that up there. That's why this is in here. So if this wears out, I can replace the parts and not have to go inside the steering column. And this is my anti-theft device. So I mean, even it worked out in the long run, but I shouldn't have had to do this for faulty parts. So watch your country of origin on your cars, especially if it comes out of China. Okay? China's not known for their human rights. They're known for violating human rights, and this is one of the reasons why they're known for why their parts are bad, because of the human rights violations. It's kind of hard to make good quality parts when your life is in danger, okay? Plain and simple. And a lot of times China's also known for its child slave labor. So again, those children should be in school learning how to run this world when they get to be adults, and should be worrying about playing and doing what kids do, not making parts for our cars over here in the United States. So because of that, I had to go specifically over and talk to our friends in and get a part from Mexico. And Mexico, yeah, it isn't exactly the United States, but it's close enough for my liking. And again, for the record, this chrome strip up here on Project Spirit is the only foreign piece that I have found on her. And it's made in Canada. And it still looks dang good. So be careful. Buyers beware. Do not buy cheap Chinese knockoff parts, because that, my friends, was a cheap. You ornery cuss. You ornery cuss. So again, just that buyer beware, okay? And again, for our dear friend Third Gen 83, A shop tried to rip me off on Project Spirit's window crank. Well, the window is jammed, rolls down, but it won't finish rolling back up. What's going on, Gotons? And a shop wanted me to buy more internal parts when it's just something jamming it. If it was, you would know if it was off track. It's good to see you, Gotons. So already, again, we're back to where this whole thing, I mean, if you're not careful, this stuff can cost you a lot of money. And again, that there was a buyer beware sort of stunt. And I know the shop that sold it to me would never just sell me bad parts purposely. They would not do that. That's not how they rock and roll. I know this. It's one of those things that I've got enough friends that work up there that they would never intentionally sell me a bad part. But that's what it came down to. It was nonstop. As a matter of fact, in 1 year's time, in about a 6 month time, I think 6-7 months, I replaced that starter solenoid a grand total of something like 15 times in like 7 months. That is a ridiculous amount of times. And only one of those parts, one of those times, that starter solenoid was actually. I had a great time yesterday, Ian. I had a fantastic time. I'm already looking forward to next Tuesday. I had a blast, okay? Hands down, bar none, I had a great time. And I can't wait for us to do it again. It was so much fun. It was a great way to spend my day off from streaming. And I mean, we had fun. And I'm going to say right now, I'm not the greatest player at Fortnite, but I'm having fun. And that's the main thing. I mean, why do we sit down and play video games? Because we want to have fun. They're supposed to be fun. And I will say right now, Fortnite is not exactly my jam when it comes to a video game. But because of the cross-platforming and the ability to... the honor is all mine. I'm going to say it all to you right now. Ian is one of the greats here on YouTube that doesn't get enough recognition. For those that do not know, Gamer Ian, BRFC, he's one of the finest. And even when he rages, it's hilarious. Because, he's just got that warm, wonderful personality. And I know he's like everybody else. He has his moments, just like everybody else. But I'll tell you all right now that even when he does have those moments, they're short-lived, and he's back to being his, kind and loving self. We wouldn't have him any other way. What's going on, Mike G? There's another one who puts on an amazing live stream show, Mike G. We got a lot of amazing people here in the, we got a lot of amazing people right now who stream video games and are starting to get into that custom car world today. And that's you, Mike G. I'm talking about you. You're one of the greats here on YouTube. And I'm going to say right now, here on YouTube, there are two. That's actually what happened, Third Gen. That's actually what happened. I did take it to a glass shop, and the shop tried to tell me that it was a ridiculous amount of money. That it was going to, basically, they wouldn't even quote me a price. And I'm like, I smell shady as a motherfucker all over this. I mean, I'm telling you, it was one of those deals that you could smell the bullshit a mile away. I actually removed enough that he was trying to describe the inner skeleton, how it was all riveted in place. Really? Why was I finding bolts when I got enough of the panel off to look myself? I actually broke the factoring. Thanks, Mike G. I actually broke the factory seal on the door panel. I was the one that did it, not the shop when I took it there. I'd never even had that door panel off. Never even gotten that far on that door. I wanted that done so in case I accidentally stripped any bolts when I go to pound that dent out of the door. So, in other words, I would have almost been better off doing it myself anyways. Oh, man. Well, I'm sorry, Gotons. Well, I'm glad you're back. So this is one of those buyer bewares. And I called our friends over at Torque Diesel and Auto. They're like, why didn't you just bring it here in the first place? I'm like, I didn't think you guys did glass. They're like, yeah, come on, man. We do restoration stuff. I'm like, I'm an idiot then. They're like, yeah, just bring it over here. Thankfully, I didn't get charged for that one shop looking at it, but I'll tell y'all right now. I'll tell y'all right now, just kind of a heads up, there's always those buyer bewares. You know, always, 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 always. If there's one rule that you'll learn from me is know the shop you're taking it to. Know the people in the shop. If you don't know them, you're new to the area, go in and get to know the people behind that counter. Because I'll tell y'all right now, friends won't screw friends over in the automotive world if they can avoid it. Okay, there's those accidental screw overs, but that happens. Just like, you know, the starter solenoid. We had that whole problem. And I know full well that those guys that I was getting that part from, you know, that starter solenoid from, there you go. You know, so it's one of those things. Watch your country of origin. Now, I will say Spirit does have a couple of parts from China, but I couldn't help it. There was no other way around it. And let me tell you, the spindles for her front disc brakes, I had no choice. When I went through Mustang Unlimited, that was the only place they could get them. It was the only place that sold them. So when I got those spindles, and they didn't even tell you where they were from. When they got here, you opened up the box, right on there is a sticker that said made in China. I'm like, mother puss bucket. I was not happy about that, but I let it go. After that, I've got parts I actually have parts. Go times, you need to get back in gear. I know what kind of guy you are. You got ideas for amazing content. And maybe sometime here in the future, I'll show you guys some cool tips on editing a video. Well, no, they wanted to do the job, but they wanted me to spin the parts so they could take more time because they knew that they would not be able to get that part easy. And they wanted to spend more time because they only charge $40 an hour for a rate. And the guy was working on a car that he'd been working on all day. But the way it looked, it almost looked like he was milking the job. So I knew full well that no, I would be better off taking it to our friends at Torque Diesel and Auto. And I'm telling you right now, they have done a lot of work to Spirit, and they've done a lot of work to Project Lena. Get backed up on stuff, go Towns. Don't let nobody stop you. All right. So I mean, that's again, we're back to that buyer beware sort of thing. Go into those shops and don't get. I mean, he was milking that job. Cowboy for cars. There you go. So you know, it's kind of like I know full well if I take it to Torque Diesel and Auto, they'll fix it, and then don't be scared of nothing. YouTube gets nervous when I start talking about, you know, what is not known. When I start talking about the COPA stuff, because I actually did a little bit of homework on it. You know, I did some homework on it. So that's the first part of this is that, you know, watch the country of origin. And for the record, I've not had any problems out of those spindles, so I guess they got it right. But Mustang Unlimited promised that those spindles would last me many years to come as long as I took good care of things. So again, buyer beware. But when you're taking your car to a shop, this is what I look for. Number one, the guys behind the counter, if I even if you don't know anything about cars, at least know something about yours, okay? At least know something about your car. What kind of oil does it take? Are you using a synthetic? When's the last time you did an oil change? What's the mileage on it? Know the year, the size of the engine, even the type of transmission that's in your car. I know the one that's going back into Project Spirit. I may not know the year, but I can tell you it was out of a Ford Granada. And I can also tell you it's a C4 automatic. It's very similar to what they would have had in the 70s. So I'm assuming it's a Granada. It's from a Granada out of the 70s. I could tell you at one time it was bolted to a 302. It wouldn't have mattered if it was bolted to a 6. So we're back to that whole thing. Um, Moderators, uh, remember what I told you guys. Screenshot. Send me the screenshots. I don't care if it's through Discord or whatever. Send me the screenshots, and the rest is up to you. Please do not comment towards him. Okay? Please do not comment towards him. All righty. And once you get your screenshot, throw him out. All right? He don't need to be here. So that is the buyer beware, okay? The buyer beware sort of thing. Be careful of country of origin because don't worry, I can see him. There we go. And boom. There you go. There we go. So again, you guys know what to do. Just running up my watch time for the most part. So we're back to, again, watch your country of origin. A lot of times in these countries, in China, they do use child slave labor to make your parts. This is also why Prince Magnum does not use Apple products. Okay, I don't buy anything from Rawlings or any subsidiary of Rawlings because I know some of those dirty little secrets that no one wants to talk about. I actually worked for Rawlings and know that they use child slave labor in China to make Rawlings sports products. I actually know that because, like I said, I worked for Rawlings and I actually found that out. I'm like, how are we okay with this? How is this even okay? So the same thing will go with some of your parts. And again, those kids should be in school and doing kid things, going out playing and learning how to be an adult so they can take over and run this world, when guys like me are too old to do anything. Okay. That's what they should be focused on. But China does not see it that way. Okay. And they have they violate human rights all the time. So with your project car, are you going to be feeling okay with the fact that you're putting parts on there that you may not know if a child was involved in that, or if someone else's human rights were not being taken into consideration? So ask yourself those questions. I think we pretty well know the answer on that. Everyone in here is not okay with that. We're all about family and things like that for the most part. Yeah, we may talk risque every now and again, and we'll do some gender bending and all that every once in a while. But the thing of it is, at day's end, we're all about, watching out for family and for children. A lot of us in here are parents. So now that I've said that, again, watch your country of origin with your parts from cars. Actually, well, okay, let me say right now that even Taiwan's having problems, but Taiwan's in a quandary because China keeps threatening to invade Taiwan. Taiwan is the leftover remnants from the Chinese Civil War. And At one point, China was becoming was becoming an actual democracy. But during the World Wars, Mao Zedong was actually able to overthrow the actual democracy in China. When that happened, of course, China's been those people then left. What was left of the democracy went and fled to Taiwan and then formed their own country. Well, nowadays, at one point in time, Taiwan was becoming the major importer of electronic goods here in the United States. Now that I've said that, I wouldn't say that now. I would say that their quality control has been in a serious nosedive. And I think it has something to do with the fact that China is rushing, is basically rushing cheap knockoff parts and all sorts of other stuff to the public, and Taiwan has to keep up. So their quality control has begun failing because of that. Along with that, if you buy a modern American car, you are not buying a modern American car. You're actually buying something that, for the most part, was built in China. Let me give you let me kind of, explain. In the start around the early 2000s, American manufacturers started moving companies over to China. And as they started moving them over, the cars were still manufactured here, were still assembled here in the United States, but they weren't built in China. Well, they were built in China, but assembled here. So they're an American car. Even though they were designed by Americans, they're not American anymore. Okay? So because of that, just kind of, let me explain. One of the most American sports cars, one of them is the Ford Mustang. The Ford Mustang, okay? Great car, okay? Has a great rich history in the sports car world from the United States. Please note how I said that, though. I didn't say it was a muscle car and I didn't call it a pony car, because none of those terms actually exist, okay? It's a sports car in the same category as the Corvette, all right? Period. Now that I've said that, around 2006, more and more of the Mustang was made in China. At the year 2016, before the year 2016, the only part that was not made in China was the running stallion on the Mustang. But in 2016, now that actually is made in China. So all of the Mustang is actually made in China, but assembled in the United States, if I remember correctly. So so if you want an actual American car, start looking, believe it or not, to Japanese companies. Japan has actually started using our workforce to build amazing cars. Just take that in a moment. This country can still build amazing cars, but it has to be a Japanese car. Can anyone explain the logic in this bullshit? Just take that in for a second, okay? Did that all just sink in? So even if you wanted an American car, you're going to have to get it from Japan. Does my engine purr? She rumbles. She rumbles a little bit. So we're back to, again, buyer beware. So even if you buy a modern car from the United States, you're not buying one from the United States. It's mostly made in China and assembled here in the United States. I hate to be that guy, and again, y'all hear me bust that muscle car thing, the muscle car thing. I'm going to say it right now. Okay. Uh, Uh-oh. There we go. So we're back to that whole thing with the muscle car. Um, you know, the muscle car doesn't actually exist. Okay, that is a made up magazine term. In the 1960s, during the golden years of performance for cars, let me say right now what a lot of people don't think about, and this is something that most people don't think about, is the fact that during the golden years of performance, and I use that term in this case a little loose, is when you talk about the golden years of performance, either you had the performance car or you didn't. And even then, there was still that gray area. And I know Third Gen 83 and Think Different are about to say they know exactly what I'm talking about. There was that whole gray area. But during the muscle car era, that's what it was called, because cars started coming out with high numbers of performance. And to get those high numbers of performance, you had to buy the performance package, like with the Mustang. If you wanted the performance version Mustang back then, you had to get the GT. If you wanted the high performance Chevelle, you had to get the Super Sport package, or with GM, you had to know how to work the Copo system. That was a whole nother ball game. But again, we're back to you needed to know that. So you either bought the performance package or you bought the performance options. But other than that, there was no such thing as a muscle car. Either you had the performance package or you didn't. So now that I've said that, why do we call that? That was a magazine thing to kind of glorify the performance years of the 1960s. So just kind of bear that in mind. The 1960s is considered the heyday of performance here in the United States. But I will say right now, they got that. I figured you guys did. And even though it won't be a problem because I got the playback, and I can actually go through in the playback and get anything. I could show that off. We'll explain that later. We don't want to talk about it too much. The police are on the case, and as a matter of fact, you actually did something that I thought was kind of ironic. Mike G. We'll talk about that later. You didn't do anything bad, but you did do something that it's like right there, kind of the irony of it. Let's say that another member of the Maverick Nation spotted the same thing that you just did, and basically you took care of what I already was going to be doing. Okay, so it's all good. It's all good, Mike G. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right. You did good. You did good. I know everyone else got it. So now that I've talked about all of this and kind of went in detail, kind of the buyer beware and learning about those classic cars, don't worry. There's nothing to be confused about. Nothing to be confused about. All right. So now that I've discussed, the buyer beware, about your classic cars. Again, we've got tons of parts over there on that shelf that are supposed to go into Project Spirit. Don't be confused, Mike G. Okay. Just trust me. You did good. Yeah. I'll tell you all about it later. So now that I've discussed that, The whole buyer beware thing. And again, we're back to there's also another buyer beware that also needs to be kind of talked about. I mentioned that that pony cars and muscle cars don't actually exist. Right now, there is a movement here in the United States that's been going on for a while that certain cars they keep trying to call muscle cars or pony cars. And long after the muscle car era ended, can anybody tell me the year and there's it's still kind of up for debate to a degree. But I know officially in the books that the year that the muscle car era ended was 1970. That's in the books. But there is some debate. Did it, because there was a few performance cars that resembled the 1960s. What's going on, Raven? There was some cars that resembled, performance. Oh, thank you, Felmy. What it was in the 1960s. So now that I've said that, why in the world, and so, I mean, there was a couple of them. I think there's some debate says 71, 72, but officially in the history books, it was always 1970. As a matter of fact, that is actually one that is just kind of across the board. Okay. Everyone's pretty familiar with it. And again, some will debate 71, 72. If you were to twist my arm, I would even say that some even extended all the way up until like 75, 76, but I wouldn't go past that. Okay. I mean, I really wouldn't. But now there's been a movement to try to say that the muscle car era ended in 1980. No, it didn't. It ended further back than that. Why in the world would we see a movement like that to try to extend it past that? Well, when you think of muscle cars, you always think of bad gas mileage. This is an attempt to get more of the classic cars in the crusher. That's it. So you'll buy a new car. That's what the Cash for Clunkers was for. The Viper is a sports car. It was built by a guy who really laid a lot of groundwork for the muscle car era, Carroll Shelby. He had a big hand in designing it. Huge hand. Oh my God. But that is not a muscle car. Okay. And again, the term muscle car doesn't actually exist. It doesn't actually exist. Okay. Either you had the performance car or you didn't. And that was in the 1960s, even into the 70s. Now there was sports cars. There was performance cars. There was cars with performance packages, things like that. Okay, no question about it. But actual muscle cars, no. What we term as true muscle cars, if you were to say that the category existed, you would think like the Chevy Chevelle. And everyone goes to the 1970. But yet there was awesome performance coming out of like the 1966 Chevelle Super Sport 396 that had a special cowl induction system on it and was killing it in NASCAR, but no one talks about that. See, you got to know these things. Now you're talking, okay, that was actually a sports car. Again, that was the 1967 Shelby GT 500 that had the 427 big block that was designed by Carroll Shelby, which wasn't fully designed by Carroll Shelby. A little inside information on Carroll Shelby's deathbed. He admitted that he paid someone off to break into the office at General Motors and steal the plans for the Chevy 427 big block. That's how he came up with the 427 side oiler and the 428. That's how they got that. Because Ford had nothing to compete with it, with GM or Mopar at that time. Okay? So now you know. All right? Now, what killed the muscle car era? What killed the performance cars of the 1960s? Couple different things. Number one, the EPA. We had to get rid of leaded fuel. For those that do not know, leaded fuel, as much as I like him here on YouTube, Scotty Kilmer. I love the Scotty Kilmer channel because he really does that buyer beware a lot, what to avoid and everything. But he really he made the mistake of saying that leaded gasoline was designed to increase the octane. No, 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 no. That's wrong. The problem is that there was a problem with the way we were doing engines in the before the 1970. The valves needed a lubricant, and oil wasn't enough. So you would get this horrible clatter. The lead in gasoline was designed to lubricate the valves so you didn't get that horrible clatter. That's what it was for. But because of the cars at the time in the 1960s, only 40%, me too, only 40% of the gasoline was actually being burnt in the combustion chamber. So that lead was being pumped out with the gasoline into the air, causing lead poisoning everywhere. Okay? So now that I've said that, in like 1970, when the EPA came into existence, they said no more leaded gasoline. So car manufacturers, it's not exactly a rant, it's just basic general knowledge that people need to know. So car manufacturers had to scramble to start building engines that could accept gasoline that did not require lead. And all they did was they hardened the valve seats. That's it. That was it. We had a problem earlier, and I'm pretty sure, and immediately everyone kind of jumped on and, oh, Spirit's fine. That's what happened, Mr. Cartoon. I'll have to go in and kind of make some adjustments later. But the comment sent up warning signs immediately because we had a problem earlier. We will not talk about this problem. This problem is being dealt with by the police, the Bonne Terre City PD. That's as far as I can talk about it because I've been asked to not talk about it anymore. Okay? So that is the end of that. The police department has asked me not to talk about it anymore other than it's going to be dealt with. This person's going to see jail time. All right. And just moderators watching my back. You know how it is. We went from, troll to stalker. It looked that way. It looked that way, Mr. Cartoon. You're okay. You're okay. Everything's hunky dory. That's why he apologized. There you go. Yeah, we could do that. Perfect by me. All righty. So there we go. All solved. All right. So now that I've talked about all that, let's go over again, so what happened with the EPA, they went from, no longer using leaded gasoline. Now that I've said that, and I mentioned again, real quick that that in the 1960s, with the setup that they had, car manufacturers with the engines back then, only 40% of the gasoline was being burnt in the combustion chamber. That means 60% was being dumped out in vapor form into the atmosphere, unused, just money thrown away. The ratio today that is burned inside the combustion chamber for modern vehicles is only 40%. It didn't get any better. It's still the same. And the way people drive today, and with the noise engine getting lower, people don't realize that they're pissing money away. Okay? For the average consumer, the regular rank and file people that don't watch channels like this, that don't have this inside information. Most cars come with a tachometer, but most people don't pay attention to that tachometer. Oh, that got involved. All right, there you go. Most people don't watch that tachometer. Your tachometer is there for a reason, not just to make sure that you don't redline the engine. Yeah. But anyhow, what it boils down to is it also helps you with your gas mileage. Now, in a normal driving situation with a modern vehicle, there are going to be times you have to have a jackrabbit start. It's just the nature of the beast, okay? That's just life. But what you're looking for is when you get to your final drive, I don't care if it's like Project Spirit and it's 3 gears, or it's all the way up to like today, where in some cases it's 8, 9, and 8 to 10 gears in your automatic. Watch your tachometer. You don't want it to get over 2,000 RPM in your final drive on the highway. The reason why is that is the preferred cruising RPM for your engine. If you're hanging your leg in it and blazing down the highway, doing 80 and 90 miles an hour, and your tachometer sitting at 3,500 on, sitting at 3,500, what do you think your gas mileage is? It's garbage. So even a hybrid isn't going to get the expected gas mileage. That's why even here in the United States, the EPA says estimated gas mileage, because they have to take into account that people are idiots. That's the honest to goodness truth. And the bigger the vehicle, the more you got to watch that tachometer. This is why the EPA will, on most modern trucks, Thomas Jane. That's the answer. Thomas Jane. But right behind him, Ray Stevenson. Dolph Lundgren, right behind that. Anything beyond that wasn't good. But anyhow, so now that I've said that, again, we're back to, that buyer beware sort of thing. This is just common sense stuff, that people don't take in. And basically, my truck only gets 16 miles to the gallon, and it should get better. It should get better. Yeah, Thomas Jane was the best. And for bad guys, in a Punisher movie, no question about it, John Travolta. I am a huge John Travolta fan. I love John Travolta. John Travolta is one of my all-time favorite actors. I am not able to go into law enforcement, but I do actually help our law enforcement. Real quick, for those who are a huge fan of Project Spirit, I'm going to say it right now. Project Spirit has actually been a part of helping law enforcement in our area on several occasions. And I myself have used Project Spirit. Well, basically, I've used Project Spirit, and I have actually assisted law enforcement in our area on numerous occasions. Numerous. So many, I can't even count them at this point. Favorite John Travolta movie? That's a good question. Saturday Night Fever. Love that movie. Love that movie. And I don't care what any of y'all say about disco music. Disco music is still amazing, okay? Yes, there was a lot of throwaway disco music, but I mean, by and large, disco was amazing. It was just awesome. And anybody who says disco was not good, just the Bee Gees, Casey and the Sunshine Band, and I know I'm going to get some looks on this one, the Village People. Urban Cow, okay. Phenomenon. I like that one. Phenomenon. That's another good one. Yeah, the Look Who's Talking movies. Yeah, those were good. Those were good. Um, those were really good. John Travolta is an amazing actor. You know, he was amazing. And of course, I also like the music that he actually sang. Most people forget his Sonny and Cher. Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Sonny and Cher. How we could use Sonny right now in Congress. Sonny Bono. No, I haven't. I'll have to check them out, Mr. Cartoon. um, let's see. I'm trying to think of all the great, the great singers. And for the record, one of my all-time favorite singer-songwriters of all time, Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond. One of the greatest singer-songwriters ever. Hands down, bar none, the best. And no one will convince me otherwise. I know a few years back he released a brand new album. Yeah, we could use him right now in Congress, especially right now. We really could use him. Sad day when he went. I'm I'm still a fan of the Beach Boys. You take it easy, Go Tons. Appreciate you being here, man. But again, I love him. He's so funny. But again, back to what I was talking about. I remember Smash Mouth, and I did not like them when they were new, and I still do not like them. I think they were overrated, to be honest with you. But for the record, a lot of people get upset when I say that I think they're a great band, but they were overrated. Okay? Never heard of them. But I'm going to surprise y'all. REO Speedwagon. That was one of the great. Queen was a totally different genre. Freddie Mercury is in a category all his own. And he's in a category all his own. He was one of the greats that should be in it. I will say it right now. Freddie Mercury is in his own category. Him and David Bowie, both. Okay? Period. Nothing more to say. They're in their own category. Okay? Those are legends that go beyond their own category. But singer-songwriter, that's a different story. Okay? But Freddie Mercury is in a category all his own. One of the greatest legendary singers, songwriters. He also did acting. He did more than just music. A lot of people forget his whole thing that he did as the Great Pretender. Oh my God! During the time that Queen took some time off in the 80s, yeah, most people forget that. And of course, the legendary song that David Bowie and Freddie Mercury did together, Queen and yeah, I'll say that again. This world, when it comes to music, we need David Bowie and we need Freddie Mercury. We've been screwed. But when it comes to just classic folk style singer, folk style rock and roll singer songwriters, that's Neil Diamond. Okay? And Neil Diamond got his start all the way. See, now you're talking Bohemian Rhapsody, which Bohemian Rhapsody is an amazing song. I will say that right now. Michael Jackson was another great. Michael Jackson was another great. But I'm going to say it right now. For singer, again, we're back to, talk about great legendary people in music, okay? Neil Diamond, most of his biggest hits, he made until, and he ended up changing his style of writing music after he went to therapy. He had to deal with some problems. Smooth Criminal, yeah. But I will say right now, Freddie Mercury is one of the. If you want to talk Freddie Mercury, I will say it right now. Yeah. Actually, that was a skin disease he was suffering. And in his later years, he was actually sensitive to sunlight. That's why he was always covered the way he was. And he actually passed away pretty well broke. Elvis Presley, there you go. Elton John, my God. Uh, Tony Orlando. Most of you probably don't know who Tony Orlando. Yeah, being Rickrolled nowadays still means something, okay? But I'm going to say it right now. That is not my favorite song by him. Together Forever is another amazing song. He had some really good songs. But then I grew up in the 1980s as a kid and got to listen to that when it was brand new. Johnny Cash, another. I am not a country music fan, but Johnny Cash, I do like. You gonna talk country music? John Denver, John Denver, BB King. Oh my gosh! Now you guys are talking my kind of music, okay? Um, Shoot, I went in a karaoke bar and Rick rolled the karaoke. The entire, yeah. Conway Twitty, yeah. Like I said, John Denver. John Denver is another favorite of mine. You know, but REO Speedwagon, I do like. They're a little overrated for my taste, but I do like REO Speedwagon. ACDC, great band, great band. Um, my God. I mean, again, we could go all day long on Don. Yep. Um, Kenny Rogers, Kenny Rogers, another great one. Yep, Tiffany. My God, yes. That was another 1980s great. Because they really didn't know what to do with her. Yes, Kiss. Now I'm gonna surprise y'all. As much as I love the 1970s, yep, there's another one. Yeah, we could use Kenny Rogers' vocals right now. Um, Amazing singers we've lost so far. Uh, just yeah, yeah. Ozzy Osbourne, another favorite of mine. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna surprise y'all. Okay, Jimmy Scott. Now you're going back a ways now. How about this one for those of you who like country music? This is gonna take you back a ways. Country music today is all throwaway music, anyways. But if you want a true American country music singer, be still, because you just mentioned the name of one of the greatest in rock and roll history, John Lennon. Let's take about 10 seconds of silence for John Lennon. Yeah. John Lennon actually was assassinated in 1980. And I think I wasn't even quite a year old yet. What a way to let go of the 70s. I mean, what a way to bring in the 80s. And the most tragic thing that could ever happen to this world is losing John Lennon. For those of you in the UK, thank you for giving us. I know everyone says that the Beatles was one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, but I will say that after the Beatles, every member of the Beatles that went famous. We know, yeah, yeah. Bobby Brown was another one. Her ex-husband was another great one. But John, I will say, I've heard of Morrissey. Yeah, Um, the Beatles, I will say right now, all right, I'll tell her, Kevin. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, Kevin. But if you're going to talk, I will say it right now, and I know there's going to be some people that are going to get upset, especially from the UK. Oh my God, I am an Everly Brothers fan. Huge Everly Brothers fan. Righteous Brothers too. Love the Righteous Brothers. But I need to take a moment right now. I know everyone says that the Beatles were one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, and to a degree, I do. I I will agree with that. Okay, to a degree. But I will say right now that I feel that the famous members of the Beatles, were 1,000 times greater after they split up. George Harrison had a few big hits in the 1980s. Oh, Dolly Parton's funny as hell. I love Dolly Parton. I hope that woman, she's forever in my mind one of the greats. Uh, and of course, John Lennon had amazing music after the Beatles. Um, and of course, Paul McCartney had amazing music. I am still one of the biggest Paul McCartney fans ever. I love Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney is one of the greats. Uh, he's also in that he deserves his own category for being so legendary. Him and John Lennon. I know Ringo Starr had his time as Mr. Conductor on Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. I know that, but I'll say right now he was an amazing actor. Most of us all forget that the members of the Beatles went on and did amazing things after they split up. And I believe in, as a music fan, as a guy who's went up on stage and performed, and I mean, I've actually performed, music, singing, in actual contests and things like that. And I have performed, in nursing homes, have sang some of those old songs and things like that. Knowing the music and everything, that the Beatles were great, but the members of the Beatles by themselves were 1,000 times better. Okay, I know the split up is still a great controversy, but it was the best thing that could have happened. Yeah, I love the Everly Brothers. Donna, oh wow, yeah. So yeah, I said it, and I wish John Lennon is still here today. We could use him. We really could. Um, we really could use his music. One of the when I want to, honestly, I feel that they were better apart. Um, as a matter of fact, I'll give you an idea. I'll give you an idea. Um, the members of Kiss. Kiss is considered. Hi, honey. The members of Kiss Kiss in the 1970s. Everyone talks about it still. How great the band was. Oh God, yes. From a car crash, but it never happened. Okay. The members of Kiss. Okay. Honestly and truthfully, I am, I love I love Kiss. Kiss is one of my all-time favorite bands. And I will say right now that being a fan of Kiss, a lot of us Kiss fans will lean towards the 1970s. And I feel that the 1970s gets more hype than it really deserves. Yes, it put the band on the map and it got them recognized. But the best music from Kiss came when they took the makeup off and they had changed the members of the band. Okay. And let me give you an example. Sha La La was a great song, yes. In the 1990s, it was around 1993, 94, when the album Revenge came out. Okay, when the album Revenge by Kiss came out, I'm going to say it right now. If you were, yeah, yeah, those guys, amazing snipers in Fortnite. Now that I've said that, in the 1990s, being a teenager in the 90s, everybody had to have in their music collection. Oh no, here we go again. Okay, honey, I got a funny feeling you're going to be running behind tonight, but I won't be able to stay awake I got work tomorrow. But, it is what it is. But in the 1990s, the following albums had to be in your collection. Now, and that could be in CD or it could still be cassette. Yeah, I figured as much, baby. But I'll still be here. I'll still be here waiting for you regardless. I'll have to go to bed, but I'll still be here. Yeah, I knew that actually. It's funny you mentioned that, Mr. Cartoon. But now that I've said all of that, in the 1990s, the number one albums that all of us 90s teenagers had to have. Number one, Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears. You had to have that, okay? Number two, you had to have, believe it or not, even though it was an 80s thing, you still had to have it in the 1990s. Def Leppard's album Hysteria. You had to have that in your collection, or it wasn't a complete 90s collection. It was an important album. It changed the face of music as we know it. Because of your name. Scooby-Doo, cartoon. Now that I've also said that, along with that, if you like them, Green Day. Their album American Idiot. That had to be in your collection. And if you could get your hands on it, it was always sold out. Nirvana's Nevermind had to be in your collection. And last but not least, Kiss's album Revenge. That had to be in your collection. I had a lot of these, believe it or not. The only two I did not have was Nirvana's Nevermind, which I was a Nirvana fan. But believe it or not, even though Nirvana was considered one of the greatest bands in the 1990s, I liked Pearl Jam more. Yep. So now that you've heard that, Psycho Circus, yeah, that was right after the reunion tour, honey. Right after the reunion tour. See, in the 90s, music got stupid. There was great bands that got overlooked because of the new alternative music that was coming out, which was just a knockoff of grunge. Come on, Spaz, you're with me. You know what I'm talking about. I love you, honey. I'll see you when you get home. I'll miss you. But I'm going to say it again right now. Alternative music is just a knockoff of grunge. Period. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilot, Green Day, and Soundgarden. Those were the grunge bands, okay? Every band since then is a cheap imitation knockoff. Period. And that's why the music is thrown away. That's why the music is all throwaway now. In 6 months, you'll never hear it again. Green Day was all, yeah. Some people like, I didn't like Green Day. Really didn't, I didn't like it. I know a lot of people are like, really, Prince Mac? I hated it. Yeah, basically. I will say I don't like them, but I have to say it was innovative. It was innovative. I have to give credit where credit's due. Nickelback. I hate Nickelback. Yeah, there's that theory out there that that Kurt Cobain didn't commit suicide, that he was murdered. Um, Nickelback, Nickelback, I'm not a fan of, but I have to say they were innovative. Since we're talking about cheap knockoff stuff here, Nickelback only has right. Nickelback really only knows 5 songs. Okay. Well, Prince Magnum, they've got a million songs out there. Yeah. When I heard the Barbie Girl song, I was like, what the flying fuck? Nickelback only knows 5 songs. Now, the lyrics change for every one of their songs. That's how they got so many, but they only know 5 songs. I'm not a fan of them, but that is innovative. That's smart. And they could churn out album after album. And I'm going to say it right now. Metallica should not call themselves Metallica anymore when they switch to alternative. They need to call themselves Alternica, you know? Right? I just yeah, I call them Alternica because yeah, I was a Metallica fan. But after Metallica swapped over to doing alternative, screw it. I was done. I felt that, you know, that now you're talking. Okay. One of my personal favorite albums is not the Black Album, though. I do like some of the music from the Black Album, but my personal favorite, Ride the Lightning. True Metallica. Slipknot was another good one. I do like some of their stuff. Now you're talking metal, and I am a metal fanatic. Marilyn Manson, no question about it. Rob Zombie, and for the record, music Q&A. Sometime I ought to do a music Q&A because there. A record for those who do not know, here on the Prince Magnum channel, we do actually have music. We do actually have video footage of me on stage singing. I know Spaz Baby has seen some of it, and I believe Queen Bee has actually seen video footage of me on stage. Yeah, there's actual video footage of me on stage singing. I miss the days of Hootie and the Blowfish. That was a great band. And I know a lot of people like Darius Rucker, but I'm going to say it right now. I wish he would get. It's like, Darius, you need to get back with them. You need to get back with the rest of the band because that was when your best music was happening. I mean, nothing against it, you know. Yeah, I miss those days because it wasn't alternative. It was actual rock and roll. And it was good. It was damn good. But if you want the, you know, again, when Rob Zombie, I am a Rob Zombie fan, but I'm going to say it right now, live, uncut. I miss his band White Zombie. Oh my God. And what I'm about to say, thank God Princess Faye isn't watching this right now. The bass guitars, the female bass guitars from White Zombie. Oh my God, she was just. Yeah, I said it. I should be ashamed of myself, but I said it. Just dang. Yeah, I'm done. you know. Um, but yeah, there's actual video of me on stage singing, and once this pandemic starts kind of grinding to a halt, I'm gonna get back on stage. Well, come on, I'm allowed to have my celebrity crushes too, right? Right? um, for the record, I actually have a joke. Princess Faye's not a huge fan of it, but I have said that we will know when married couples have this, and I'm pretty sure there's a few of our married couples in here right now. Right, we all got them. You know how married couples, now we're getting into surviving romance a little bit in this one, but saving it, I've never heard of that group. But now that I've said that, the joke that I occasionally say, every couple, every married couple has that, if there was one celebrity that you could sleep with that isn't, if you could get away with it, and I wouldn't call it cheating if you could sleep, basically that one celebrity that you could sleep with, and I wouldn't call it cheating because you were sleeping with a celebrity, that sort of thing. Who would it be? I have made the joke that when I start ending up on that list for couples, we know I've made it. And Princess Faye looked at me and she's like, "You're not funny." But for the record, Princess Faye, I'm pretty sure by now has ended up on that list herself, because I will say it right now, right for everyone to hear. I don't. Many of you ladies right now that are watching, that are watching right now, I'm going to say it right now. All of you ladies in here are beautiful in your own special way. You all have beautiful personalities, and I've seen pictures of many of you. You're gorgeous ladies, but you will all be second place to my beautiful wife. You will all be second place to my beautiful wife. She is the most beautiful woman in the world. And there you have it. What's going on, KJ Del Rey? Welcome to the live. We've been talking, for the most part, I got off topic, but we've been talking about how not, right. We've been talking about how that buyer beware sort of thing, what to watch for when you're doing project cars. Wrestler crushes. I don't have any. I really don't. I don't have any. I don't have any wrestler crushes, female wrestler crushes. I just don't. I mean, there was a few of them that, I'll be honest with you. Well, and I'll say it again, I take Princess Faye out, I tease with coworkers, okay? I tease and sound like I'm a flirt, which to a degree I still am, but it's not my fault that, everything I say comes out smoother than the cream cheese that you spread on your bagel, okay? Sorry. But that being said, okay. Yeah, you better be careful, Spaz. You're important to us all. I hate hearing you getting hurt. But I'm going to say it right now. There, in all the joking, there's one thing I will never say to any other woman except my wife. She's the only one in the world that I will still only ask if she wants to go cruising with me. And the reason why she is the only one that I will ask that of is because of the fact that I am still I still have a lot of teenager in me. And because I have a lot of teenager left in me, um, I was a teenager in the 90s. And in the custom car world, um, if you were into custom cars, uh, cruising was the thing back then, and everybody cruised, even if you weren't into custom cars. But if you were into custom cars, you always, if as a guy, you wanted to be seen in the coolest car with the hottest gal in town. And no matter, I've got the cool car. Project Spirit is a cool car, but I'm going to say it right now for all of you out there. I might tease and joke and and be flirtatious with that joking, but I don't mean it. And none of you ladies will ever hear me ask you if you want to go cruising, because yes, I have the cool car, but the hottest woman in any town, no matter where I'm at in the world, the hottest woman will always be my gorgeous wife. She will always be the most attractive woman in my eyes, anywhere, anytime, no matter what. There is no one that can even come close to how beautiful my wife is in my eyes. I love my wife. And now that I have said that, I will say it again. I mean, I might tease and I might joke and I might, that sort of thing. My wife, and that's all it is to me. And I've told the gals at work, I said, I might tease and I might joke, but just know that's what it is. You know, the most gorgeous wife, the most gorgeous woman in the world will always be my wife. And I still regularly, I haven't done it in a couple days, but so I need to, but I still send my wife a text message for her to wake up to that tells her that she is still the most beautiful, that she's the most beautiful woman in the world. I still do that. She is. My wife, in my eyes, is still the most beautiful woman in the world. But the joke is that when I start ending up on that list for married couples, the woman basically says, "Yep, Fortnite Princess." When I start ending up on that whole thing of where the couples, married couples asking each other, if there's the one celebrity that you could get away with sleeping with, and I wouldn't consider it cheating, who would it be? When I start ending up on that list, we know at that point I've made it. I'm sorry, that's funny to me, you know. And Princess Faye turns around and always says, "You're not funny." Just one of those things. So, I mean, it's a joke, yeah, but it is what it is. But again, for the record, no woman, I mean, no woman will ever compare to my wife. You know, you Henri cuss. You say that, but I know full well that I know who you're married to, and I know if I was to, ask you man to man, just the two of us, you would say right now that there is no woman that compares to the woman that you're with. I know that. No question about it. And yes, TFZ, I seen you sneaking in here, and I've been trying to keep up with what you're working on. I am excited. You better be posting a big video soon, because that is a cool looking ride. I'm enjoying it. I ain't gonna tell anybody anymore. I want you to post something big. YouTube, Twitch, I don't care. Well, and so, I mean, the love is still real. And I will say it again. How can any, no, if any one woman wanted to try to steal me away, how can you top the fact that my wife bought me, the star, the true star of my channel? How can you top that? You can't. You really can't. A lot of love for Project Spirit, and not just because, of what she's done for the channel, but because the fact my wife bought me that car. You can't say nothing bad about that. We work on that car together. You can't say nothing bad about that, Right, right. Icing on the cake. And I got a gorgeous wife. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. See what I mean? And I'll say it again. You know, um, you know, hey, I'll tell you what, Ian. I'll tell you what, Ian. I know who your wife is. She's a good woman. She's a good woman, and I know she I know she takes good care of you, and she's a good woman. You know, she's got to put guys, come on, give me a big thumbs up. It's amazing women that put up with us guys. It's amazing women that put up with us guys. Give me a thumbs up on that, guys. Good women that put up with us. That's what it takes. Good women that put up with us. Give me a thumbs up on that. Big thumbs up. I'll tell y'all right now, I can't even find my socks without Princess Faye. It's funny, before when I was single, I had everything under control. I get with Princess Faye, my mind goes to mush. Go figure. I was a single dad and everything when, raising my son on my own. There you go. There you go. Get with Princess Faye, and I can't. Oh, Mike, I know that woman's waiting for you. You just haven't found her. Mike G, there you go. See? There you go. See? Good women that put up with guys like us, especially guys like me. I'm going to say it right now. I'm an egomaniac, okay? I had to have a car that everyone would notice. I had to have that car. No, I'm not compensating for anything. Don't you dare try to go there, Ian. I know how you are, you ornery cuss. Now I'm going to say it, Princess Faye understood. There you go, Ian. For the record, Ian does a Tuesday Night Madness that there's always someone out there for somebody. And I found her. I found my somebody. And I can't even find my socks without her. And the reason why, because she's my everything, and I can't think of it, everything that I do in some way, shape, or form revolves around her. Even as an egomaniac. Even as an egomaniac, I can't even find my socks because of the simple fact that everything I do revolves around Princess Faye, whether she knows it or not. To the point where I had to have the car that I would get recognized in. So when I take her cruising, everyone notices not only the car I'm driving, but the beautiful woman that's in the car next to me. I don't even want to remove the bench seat in that car and put in sportier looking bucket seats because then Princess Faye won't be able to sit next to me. This should start giving you guys an idea. I'm actually incorporating things into my car just so I can put more of a focus on my wife. Right? Same here. Same here. You're right. You hit the nail on the head, Raven. I still, whether Princess Faye knows it or not, I still, I'll just say it like this. Princess Faye is still my love of, my love obsession. She is still my love obsession. I still chase after her like I never caught her. She's still, I might joke and everything, but she's still my biggest crush. And I know she's not here. I know she's not watching, so I'm going to say it anyways. She's still my biggest crush. And I've caught her, but I still chase after her like I never did, like I never caught her. Maybe that's how they get along. Maybe that's how they get along. But yeah, I said it. I still chase after my wife like I never caught her, and she's still my biggest crush. And I'm married to her. Why do you think I incorporate what I do into my car? I want her and I to work on them together. I still want her to have a cool ride. That's why she's got Project Lena. I love talking to her about the, why do you think she has a series dedicated to her? There you go. See, Think Different gets it. I still, my wife is still, next to my daughters, my wife is still the most beautiful woman in the world. And I think she understands that. My daughters are supposed to, I'm dad, I'm supposed to think my daughters are the most beautiful women in the world. But outside of my children, my wife is the most beautiful woman in the world. Yes, I got to edit that video footage. Hold your horses. No pun intended there. Hands down, bar none, my wife is the most beautiful woman in the world. That's why, even if someone came up right now and offered me an astronomical price on Project Spirit, I would not be able to get rid of that car because my wife bought it for me. She'd be like, get rid of that car. Take the money and run, stupid. But you bought me that car, baby. I can't get rid of it. Unless I was trading it for something that was better, and I could still do what I do. Maybe if it just got that bad, where I, no, couldn't do it. I mean, I know there's that right price, Believe it or not, I used to ride horses a lot younger. Why do you think my wife has an entire series dedicated to her? And why do you think I always say, if she's worth it, you'll do it? Boy, that'd be a hard one. I don't know. Raven, I honestly don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you if I could or not. It's one of those things that I would have to seriously talk to Princess Faye and beg for forgiveness at that point for that kind of cash. Honestly. And we have had offers from other countries too on Spirit, but I was like, no. Princess Faye always looks at me and says, why, you idiot? Take the money. No, can't. I can't. You bought me that car. How could I get rid of that car when you bought it for me? That's how much I'm really at that point. You're asking me, is there a price tag on love for my wife? Really? That's why it's so hard. You're asking me to put a price tag on the love for my wife. Imagine that for just a moment. Yeah. So now that I have probably got all the gals going, oh my God. But it's true. I'm speaking from the heart. If I didn't love her, I wouldn't have married her. So I'm going to go out and close the hood on Spirit. Real quick, I did get ripped off on something for Spirit that I mentioned a while ago. There we go. A little too dark. I transitioned from the light. Normally, I just walk down the steps and take my chances. But, it is what it is. Normally. But anyhow, there you go. See? Real quick. Project Spirit in the dark. Oh! All right. But yeah, so I got to call our friends at Torque Diesel and Auto and have them take a look at this window because, like I said, they tried to rip me off on that, but I ain't dumb. But now that I've said that, we did get ripped off on one thing, and it was from Wish, of all the places. I recommend no one buying anything from Wish. You're better off sticking to Amazon. I'm scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. Hey, what's going on, V? Good to see you, buddy. I did get ripped off on some GPS trackers. We were going to install GPS trackers in both Project Spirit and Project Lena. This was because as the channel gets bigger, the price on some on a couple other things. Actually, I have bought some stuff from Wish that wasn't bad, but they've ripped me off on so far they've ripped me off on a survival knife that hangs on your neck. They ripped me off on that. They ripped me off on the GPS trackers, and so far they're trying to rip me off now on some actual filters for some face masks. It is a terrible sight. It is an absolutely terrible sight. And now that I've said that, I'm actually going to email them the link to this live stream the very moment it's posted and give them the time code when I said it. I've been ripped off on some filters for a face mask because where we're at, they're actually getting ready to basically demand. They're already starting. If you don't have a face covering because of the pandemic, you can't go in and shop. That's just how it's going to be. So I spared no expense and got us some really good ones. So I thought, well, I'll get some filters through them. No, because everywhere else, the charcoal activated filters are a little pricey. So I thought, okay, well, I'll cut a corner here. Nope, we got ripped off. Along with that, our GPS trackers are not here, and my survival knife is not here because I wanted this little neck knife that I thought would be beneficial, and it was of legal use. In all fairness, they do have a few things that are useful, but for the most part, well, like some of their car stuff is all rip-off stuff. Don't buy their car stuff. Okay? Well, not all of it, but damn near. All right, Raven, you rest up. Yeah. So I can, car stuff, it's all rip-off stuff. As a matter of fact, you could get Ford Racing. You can get Ford Racing stuff that isn't licensed by Ford through Wish. So, yeah. If it would actually show up. But again, we're basically talking about being ripped off by a place that imports directly from China. And I mean, that's already a ripoff in itself. Okay. Um, so if you want quality stuff for your car, you don't go through Wish. I know some, we've tried to test a few products from them. And again, I don't normally do bad reviews. But this is one of those, we're back to buyer beware. Okay. We got a little off top, but we got ripped off on GPS trackers. I know you guys bust Donald Trump, but he was better than what we were about to get. I know you guys another kind, but then again, all you guys hear about is what comes from American media, and American media is owned by China. So you guys don't get the full story. You guys don't get the full story. Our government, I'm going to say it right now, Americans get ripped off by their government, okay? Actually, here in the United States, yep. Okay, I'm going to say it right now, okay? Actually, he's a very shrewd businessman. He's not a politician, which is the problem. And a lot of people don't understand. Okay? You know full well that every decision you see would be made by a businessman, not a politician. Okay? Yep. Well, yeah, he had casinos go bankrupt. But what about his hotels that did so well? I'm going to say it again. The government that you all think about, yep, the government that you all think about in other parts of the world, for those of you overseas, the ones that we vote in is not actually in power. What was that? Yeah, but he still managed to stay rich. Bankruptcy isn't exactly what you think it is here in the United States. A little different overseas from what I understand, but here in the US, bankruptcy doesn't mean what you think it means. It's a way to get the creditors off your back, is what it really is. And somebody was mismanaging money, and that's what he was paying those people to do. Plain and simple, he didn't watch his money. That was his mistake. So now that I've said that, the government that you all think about, there you go. Thank you, Spaz. The government that you all think about overseas that us here in the United States vote in is not actually in power. There's another government that thank you. The government that we vote in is not actually in charge. There's another government that's underneath it all, okay? Kind of a secret government. As a matter of fact, John McCain was when he passed away, everyone was like, oh my gosh. And then it kind of came out that he was the president of the secret underground government that's been put in place by American corporations that actually runs things, okay? Not exactly Illuminati, but that's one that everyone no, it is not. The Illuminati, that whole thing is thrown around to kind of keep us, to keep conspiracy theorists kind of guessing. There is no Illuminati. There's the Bilderberg Group. Take a good close look at them. They're really interesting. It's our corporations that are so corrupt that it deserves its own video. Here in Missouri, Missouri is one of the most. Oh, I'm sure it is. It's like that everywhere. But here in the United States, yeah. But here in the United States, the government is the government that we vote in. That is just there to give the illusion that Americans have control. Okay, that's an illusion. Okay, a total illusion. And it's funny how we think that our vote actually counts. Okay, really, our vote does not count. It's useless. He might be, but you got to remember, he got into power because corporations, well, the American corporate government got really nervous when he got into power, really, because he was saying things that they did not want to hear. He was actually saying things that they didn't want to hear. He was actually exposing things they didn't want to hear. As a matter of fact, he was, to give you an idea, when that whole thing came out, him supposedly being sexist, and I heard the actual tapes. When I heard those tapes, I'm like, shoot, guys talk like that all the time amongst each other. Who is recording that? I'd beat their ass. Okay. Now that I've said that, okay, Donald Trump did something that is not talked about. He grabbed a bunch of women that were sexually assaulted by Bill Clinton. Oh yeah, you know, Spaz. Yeah, we all do it. Okay. Like I said, he's a businessman. Okay, he's not there. Yeah, he's well. Also, remember, anything that you see oftentimes is edited by the American media, which is again owned by China. And Donald Trump is doing his best to fight the crap that China. I'll tell you what, better yet, V, do yourself a favor, go over and look at China Uncensored, because they talk about Donald Trump a lot and his dealings with having to deal with the bullshit from China. Take a good close look at that. You'll get a deeper look. They do an amazing job actually exposing what you guys don't get to see, and that's right here on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of editing that you guys don't. But yeah, what happened is he was about to. So when he actually went in, and this is not talked about. This is actually kept very quiet. When he went in, well, it's your opinion. You're entitled to it. You know, don't be sorry about your opinion. But now that I've said that, what Donald Trump actually did, he's like, okay, you guys want to play that sexist card? He actually got all of the. There's no one that the Democrats got that could even compete, unless they all of a sudden got Jesse Ventura, and Jesse Ventura doesn't trust the Democrats. He doesn't trust the Republicans either. He'd run as an independent. He would get it. He would get it. But anyhow, now that I've said all of that, Right. Yeah, socialist. There's two forms of socialist. We know about the National Socialist. Yeah. We know about the National Socialist from Germany from the 1930s into the 40s. Adolf Hitler was ahead of that one, wasn't he? Well, um, what he actually did during the election was he brought in all the women that Bill Clinton had sexually assaulted. And when the camera started, the media had no idea. And as he started, the women started talking, the media realized it and shut the cameras off immediately and threw away the footage. The only person that covered it was Alex Jones. The only one that would cover it. I didn't say I was defending him. I'm just saying he was the best choice we had. He's still the only best choice we got right now. Maybe I should run. Anyhow, I am of legal age to run. Right. So now that you've heard that, remember, okay? Oh, Hollywood's corrupt as hell. But you know what? Yeah, he's the best choice we got. You know, do you choose between a communist or you choose between a guy who really is not ready for the spot that he's in? He's better off running things from Trump Tower. You know, it is. We're back to that whole thing. Oh, I'm not in. But anyhow, how do we get on this topic again? Son of a bitch. Anyhow, so again, you know, I'm not really into politics so much, but what I talk about is the honest to goodness facts that the American public is kind of blind to a lot of things, like the stuff that I just talked about today. What's great news there, V? You better give me some good news. I could use it. All the politicians do that, Queen. Come on. Like you didn't know, like you knew, come on, you knew that. All the politicians do it. They skim off the top all the time. It's going for education. No, it's going for your pocket, motherfucker. You corrupt son of a. You guys get the idea. But anyhow, so tomorrow is Sober Talk. Friday. Yep. I haven't met a politician yet that wasn't corrupt. Whoa! Really? Dang! Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So that is something. I am not a fan of Star Wars. I am a Star Trek fan. Now, before any of you who love Star Wars say anything, George Lucas, he got his inspiration from Gene Roddenberry. Wow. Yeah. Walt Disney is an interesting character. Believe it or not, uh, for those of you who like some dark stuff, look up on YouTube. There's a channel, a guy who runs a channel. It used to be called Creepy Gaming, but he started doing some other creepy stuff. But he actually has the video footage from Walt Disney's. Yeah, that one I already knew. Come on, Spaz. I know all about MK Ultra. Ooh, I didn't know that. Yeah, that one I knew too. A lot of companies were back then. Shoot, Ford was. Ford. The Ford auto manufacturers. Henry Ford himself sued the United States government for bombing his factories in Nazi Germany. And won. Yep. For those that didn't know that one. Yeah. Come on. Let me see. Yeah, that's about it. Now, let's talk about the rest of the week. As it stands right now, tomorrow is Sober Talk. We got a lot to talk about in Sober Talk because Friday, two major things happened this Friday. Number one is my birthday this Friday. I'm turning 41 this Friday. Not yet. I got to do that. But this Friday, I turned 41. Okay. And the same day, not that I planned it this way, but it just happened this way. The same day, I celebrate 14 and a half years without a drink or a drug this Friday as well. The same day. 14 and a half years without a drink or a drug. Yours was last Saturday. Spaz. Okay. I got to do something then. But this Friday, yep, party. Actually, we'll do a short stream earlier in the day. You're not much older than me, V. But hey, doggone it, I think I look pretty good for turning 41. And V, I was in your live stream the other day. I was just lurky turkey. Yeah, Spaz is believe it or not, yeah, I knew her birthday and mine were real close. Yeah, happy. Thank you guys. So this Friday there will be a short stream. Princess Faye and I are going to go out and get a bite to eat, but we're going to take you along for a ride in. Thanks, Spaz. Appreciate that. We're going to take you all for a ride in Project Spirit. Okay, let you just all come along with us. Then after that, it's onward to just relaxing for a lot of the day. And then later that evening, we're just going to have kind of a birthday party chill stream. We're just going to have a lot of fun. And then unless Princess Faye gets home early enough, there's a makeup birthday party where Princess Faye does me up in makeup. V, you honorary cuss. I love you, man. You're all right in my book. But yeah. And then Saturday, I have no idea, but we're going to have a good time. You felt this in? Princess Faye's going to hold on to you. She's going to be holding the camera. So you guys are going to go for a ride. We're going to have a good time. And then later that night, unless Princess Faye gets out early enough, then y'all get to see, you know, then y'all get to see, Princess Faye, and I will if she gets out of work early, Princess Faye's got to work my birthday. So if she gets out early enough, we might do a makeup live. If not, we're just going to do a nice chill stream. We're going to have a good time. How long we're going to be on, you know. Come on. That was fun. So we're going to have a good time Friday. Saturday, I don't know yet. Haven't gotten that far. We're just going to do something. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a great time. And Sunday, I don't know yet. But I'm supposed to have a 3-day weekend. And when I go back to work Monday, hopefully the building is still standing. Yep. So if all goes well, sometime during this week, I will be in drag makeup again, and or something that resembles drag makeup. That's really more of an art form. But I'll be all done up, and it'll be a makeup live stream with everyone's favorite hostess, Cinnamon. And last time, poor Queen, she was laughing so hard. Poor Queen Bee could not stop laughing. She's like, I just can't with you. I can't take you serious. And, she was giggling the whole time. TFZ Gaming poked in. Oh my gosh. Yeah, probably at that point. But yeah, it's the makeup streams really get a lot of attention, Yeah, poor Queen. Every time I did my bit as doing the Cinnamon bit, she would just die laughing. Poor Queen could not keep us. TFZ came in. She was facepalm. Queen was facepalmed, giggling. And TFZ was like, "It's too cute for words." And maybe at some point this week, we might even do a kitten stream with everyone's favorite little kitten, Zelda. We might do that sometime this week, because I know you all had a good time watching little Zelda play. By the way, that stream was huge. I got watch time on that stream. Oh my gosh, did I get watch time? She's hiding right now, I think. Let me look. Yeah, she's hiding behind the couch. She does that. But I already know Queen Bee wants her kitten time with Zelda. For the record, Queen Bee, yeah, we'll live stream kittens. And when we live stream kittens, everybody just goes nuts for little Zelda. She had the zoomies earlier, big time, just zip, 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 zip everywhere. You rest up, B. I'm getting ready to shut it down for the night. We went a little longer than anticipated, but that's okay. We got off topic a couple of times. Good to see you, B. Lots of love, brother. All right. So that's pretty much as the week stands right now. And Monday we will be streaming. I just have no idea what we'll be streaming yet. Tuesday, I will not be streaming because it's Tuesday Night Madness over on Ian's channel. Now, real quick, when we talk Tuesday Night Madness over on Ian's channel, Tuesday Night Madness over on Ian's channel, that's when he will, yes, Queen, I will go eat something. When we talk Tuesday Night Madness on, Ian's stream, it's Fortnite. It's a Fortnite Tuesday night, and we have so much fun. So definitely check out what he does on Fortnite. We have a blast. And for the record, he also has a video up of Queen Bee. I started the BS. I started the whole video. And what basically happened, and when you hear it, I mean, I will do it no justice, but Queen, what she actually did, well, I turned around and said while in the middle of the Fortnite stream, no, we were just playing, I think, just goofing off. I turned around and said, in the middle of the stream, well, the middle of the battle, I said, remember, guys, when in doubt, whip it out. And Queen turns around and says, I whipped it out and nothing happened. And the way she did it, it was so doggone funny. I was sitting there giggling. Everyone was laughing. And Ian, he's like, what the fuck? That you could hear him say it. What the fuck? That was all you gotta. And everybody else was laughing. And he didn't catch me saying it. But I turned around and said, I got nothing. I got nothing. I was laughing out of complete shock. It just threw me off. And Gamery and BRFC has that video up. Funny as hell. Funny as hell. Queen's like, oh my God, no. Don't be ashamed. It was funny as hell. It was hilarious. So we'll probably see more of that this Tuesday, I'm sure. Where I might say something and somebody will say something even worse, you know. But yeah, it was funny. Don't be ashamed, Queen. It was hilarious. We all had a good laugh out of it. You caught me off guard. And that's saying something. But all right. So that brings us to our usual spot. Thank you all so much for being here. Don't get ripped off by the repair shops or the customizing shops. Don't get ripped off by them. Be smart. Be smart. Get to know those guys behind the counter. You'll know whether or not you can trust them. And be wary of the certain companies of basically countries of origin when it comes to your car parts. Just be wary of that. All right. So as usual, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is. Just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. Do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, every last one of you, if no one out there has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.